Go ahead and get started on this Choose Your Person. We have one more day after this. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the registration process with the Arizona Healthcare Directives Registry. As I have shared in past presentations, if you have been on, this presentation is not meant for financial or legal planning purposes and is educational in nature. The next slide is going to be a video. It's one of my favorite videos that has been done by the Conversation Project, a national project around advanced care planning. It is meant to be funny, but at the same time, it really does represent what so many of us go through when it comes to choosing our person.
Your healthcare proxy? Like if you need someone to tell the doctor what to? I just go with whatever the doctors say. I wouldn't want to bother them. They're so busy. Doctors know best, right?
Be your healthcare proxy? Sure, I'd be happy to. If I'm in town, check out my Instagram pics from Peru. Wish you were here.
Oh, I could never let you go. I can't even throw a plant away. As long as it's got one little green leaf. I'd be like, can't we upload her to the cloud?
Well, heck yeah. I've given this a lot of thought. Let me tell you what decisions you're best off going with. You never let them resuscitate. And if they even try to hook you up to one of those breathing machines, never. I got this. I totally got this.
How can you even talk about this? I can't, okay? I just can't. Mom, it's not like you're gonna die. No, I can't talk right now.
Oh wait, did I show you that meme from iFunny? The cat and the dishwasher? Oh my gosh, okay. So the cat's like, bleh. And then he's like, wah! Oh wait, sorry, what?
Well, hon, you and I have been through so much together. Here's what we'll do. We'll sit down, we'll get a cup of coffee, and you tell me what matters to you.
Well, it wouldn't be easy. I mean, I'd be sad, but I'd have your back.
I remember when we went through this with Mom, we really spoke for her. So I think I can do that for you. Let's talk about what you would want.
So I think we probably can recognize a few of our family or friends in that video, hopefully on those that we would want to choose. But we're going to talk a little bit more about when you are looking at the individuals in your life, how to make that decision. But I first also want to share that the idea of choose your person is really something that we have focused on here at the Arizona Healthcare Directives Registry. We understand that even for healthcare providers, that not every patient interaction is one where you're going to want or need to have conversations about end-of-life care decisions or about really thinking about advanced medical treatments. But every conversation, because we all know that incidents, accidents happen, every conversation when people come in is an opportunity to say, do you have someone in your life that you would turn to and trust to make decisions on your behalf if you're not able to? Who's that person? That is the whole idea around this choose your person. As Ira Byock, who is a well-known physician and has worked within end-of-life care, says that he has an advance directive, not because I have a serious illness, but because I have a family. The recognition that knowing that these decisions have been made, or even that you've identified the person to be your voice for decisions that may need to be made in the future, really allows you to kind of take that deep breath, release that breath, and know that you've kind of covered some of the things that for many people are a real concern. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it's taken place. having these conversations, choosing that person, but then never having additional discussions with them is not the way to kind of approach this. But really ensure that your discussion with them gives them a sense of what's important to you, who is important to you, what your values are. If you were on yesterday's conversation, we talked about kind of thinking about your core values and using those to really guide these types of decisions. So let's dive in a little bit more to what a durable healthcare power of attorney is. Depending on the state, there are different names. In some states, it's called a medical power of attorney. In some states and sometimes on the documents, it's simply called a healthcare power of attorney, healthcare agent document. The durable in any legal document really just means that it will kind of stay its course even if someone is not competent afterwards. So it allows it to remain in place at the very time that it is needed. So a healthcare power of attorney is the person or persons that you select, who is then often called an agent, sometimes a surrogate, to make future healthcare decisions for you if you become too ill or cannot make those decisions for yourself. Here in Arizona, we're unique. There are a few states that have either what's known as a mental health care power of attorney document or a psychiatric document, which is a separate document authorizing either that same individual that you've named as your healthcare agent or a different individual to make decisions for you regarding behavioral health placement and treatment if you become incapable of making healthcare decisions due to that mental or physical illness, injury, disability, or incapacity that is creating a behavioral crisis. This appointment is effective until it is revoked by the signer or by a court order. And that agent is authorized to, again, receive medical records and information regarding mental health and behavioral treatment, which is unique and cannot be accessed strictly by the healthcare agent if no authority has been given around mental health. Consent to the administration of medications recommended by treating physicians or treatments for behavioral health situations, and admit to an inpatient or psychiatric hospitalization program. Again, this does not necessarily mean this is coming from a mental illness, such as, for instance, schizophrenia or bipolar, but it could be due to Alzheimer's, dementia, a psychosis due to another disease symptom, or from a medication interaction. Here's a way to kind of start thinking about characteristics that are important in a durable healthcare power of attorney. They need to be dependable. And that is, for instance, that video gave a perfect example, that one woman who is traveling around the world, probably blogging, doesn't mean she's not a dependable person, but she's not accessible to you. You can't depend on the fact that she is going to be accessible when and where a healthcare provider needs to reach out to her. They need to honor your wishes and your values. That does not mean that that's the person whose advance directive looks exactly like yours. It may look very different. Their decisions may be very different than what you have decided that's important to you, but they'll honor your decisions. They're communicative. Now, this doesn't mean that they are the life of the party. This simply means that they are good communicators and comfortable having conversations with healthcare providers. As you saw with that first individual, whatever the doctor was going to say, she was going to go for it. And so that was someone who's not comfortable maybe saying, but wait, where is this going to lead? Is this test needed? Can we attempt this? So that's the person who's open to having that dialogue. The power of one. I did make mention that you can have more than one agent named in a document, but it is highly suggested that you have one initial agent and then alternate agents. If two people are named in that same line as the initial agent, then they will need to agree for that decision. And we all know even in the best of times, that we don't always agree on where the direction is. And so having that named agent, and then if they are not accessible, were part of an accident that you yourself were in and can't communicate, then there's somebody else. Objective, that again, they can look at the situation objectively and that they've accepted. This is not something you want to put somebody's name down and then never let them know that they've been elected to this position. This is something they need to understand and they need to accept. And it's okay if they come back and say, I'm not comfortable with this. We saw several people on the video like that. I will say in my own family, initially my parents had my sister as the main agent. She's older. They just thought, well, we'll just put the older one on. And when I came and talked to my family about what this document really was going to do and how it worked, my sister said, I can't do that. Like that, I'm not going to be able to do that. Carla should be that person. Now, we made it so that in the document, it said that other family members could have access, and named them, could have access to medical records, could participate in medical conferences, could be visiting at all times. They just, when the doctors turned to the person, one person, to give them the decision, in the end, we decided that would be me. So another way to think about characteristics and is that they are aware of your wishes and your preferences. They are able to assist in this situation and that they're available. As I'm going through this, please feel free to add in questions into the box so we can discuss, or any comments. So what happens after you've made your decision or a client has made a decision? They need to confirm that decision. They need to document that decision in a directive. They should be communicating with their family or friend or the chosen person that has been put down. Allow that individual to see the document, talk through any questionable pieces, things that they may not understand, things they want to better understand. And then you want to keep it current. Again, if you've been on any of the sessions, I think in each one I have shared that this is not a document that is a one and done. Unfortunately, you don't only get to do this once. It gets easier each time because typically you're looking at this document and just saying, does it continue to reflect my wishes? And is the person that I have identified as my agent still the person that I choose to be my agent? Or has something happened either within our relationship or within their own health that would no longer allow them or should allow them to have that role? So it goes to the 5 Ds that every decade we should be making adjustments and changes to these documents if something has changed. That if there's a change in our family status, whether it's a divorce, uncoupling, some type of change, a change in a relationship with a longtime friend, then maybe that person is no longer your person. If disease has a diagnosis and those specific diagnoses have brought up other symptoms that are often a part of that diagnosis that you want to address, that's also important to bring those conversations back to the individual who has been named and let them know what updates have been made. You're going to want to put those updates on a new form and then share with them that new document. It's always a good idea, even when the document is residing in the registry and you're going to upload a new copy, but you always want to have that paper copy on the back. Just list out where it is, whether it's it may be at the AzHDR, it's at Dr. Smith's office, it's with mom and dad. That way you know exactly who needs to get the most current document. Death can always inform us of things that we want or don't want for our own kind of end of life. And so oftentimes the death of someone close to us, if we work in healthcare, the death of a patient or a client or something we see with their own treatment journey often informs something that we want. I know as a former hospice social worker, I really still think to this day about some of the treatment decisions that some of my clients made, and I really think about whether those would be the same ones that I would make, and if I made something different, why. And decline. Certainly as our life situations change due to age or illness, frailty, it often we want to look back at these documents. It maybe makes us want to add in a document or change some things within those documents and rework those documents ourselves. We have many different resources to help you along the way. For both, again, these are resources that can help you in your own personal journey around advanced care planning. But if you are a provider, these resources can also provide some great tools, additional videos, recognition of the unique nature when we're working cross-culturally or with people of other faiths, to really have cultural humility as we discuss these areas that are so sensitive, in a way that doesn't end the conversation before it begins. All of these resources can be found at azhdr.org. We really encourage you to come to view the site frequently. We are right now in the process of making some adjustments to that to make it an easier site for both consumers as well as professional providers. We are adding in a Spanish language page, although our resource page does link to some of our partners who have other languages as well. And so we really encourage you to visit, but visit often. If you have additional questions, here's some ways to reach out to us. No matter which email you link through, you will find us and somebody to answer your question. So let's see if there are any additional questions that you may have.
Hi, Carla. I'm in the chat right now. I don't see any questions or comments at this time, but we can give it a few minutes if the folks are thinking about something or if they're currently typing.
Okay. I do know that we have a team from a clinic on, and I am going to also, one of the things that I'm going to send out, and we can send this out to all the participants, is a quiz that we've put together, Truth and Myths Around Advanced Care Planning. It's kind of a fun way to, even with family members, to include as part of the conversation to see what people know or don't know, or maybe surprised on around advanced care planning. So that's something we're going to send out to all of the participants as well. I've just surprised Emily with that additional send out, but we will be getting that out.
That sounds great. And Tracy shared that sounds great, like a great tool. Thank you. It sure does.
So as with all of these sessions that we've been doing, our hope is really that thinking about these type of conversations in maybe a different way, hopefully in a little bit of a fun way, gets us to be more comfortable and confident in having these conversations, not only with family and friends and thinking about these things ourselves, but again, if you're a provider of services, to having these conversations with clients or patients in a way that you can begin the conversation, even if you don't have the skill set to talk a lot about medical interventions. Everybody can talk about choosing your person. Again, tomorrow's session is on the registry itself. We're going to talk about a little bit about the history of advanced directives registration, in the state, where we're at today, the exciting kind of place we're at today, and how we're continuing to grow this registry, but how as a consumer provider you can access it at no cost to be able to have directives there and continue to engage other providers so that what you have registered for your wishes can be honored.
And Carla, for tomorrow's session, would you be able to go over some of those milestones for DAP now that AzHDR is a part of it?
I can certainly give a quick overview of that program. And we will, at the beginning, ask where people are coming from, so that if we have providers who are on and would meet that portion of it, then we can share some information. It is a program that is not for all provider types, but we will absolutely be able to share, and we'll ask the question online tomorrow if we do have some providers on.
Wonderful, thanks.
All right, so with that, I will give back some time. But as always, please don't hesitate to reach out to the team by phone or email, through the website, for any additional questions or comments, or to set up any trainings that people may want at their own organization around the state. So thank you guys all so much for participating.